Today the sun decided to show up and I am filming at a different hour than what I normally film, so I have a lot of light at the moment, but I think that's okay. I think that's not too much. So hi, hello, how are you? And welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Beatriz, I'm your host here on Beatriz Book Nook, and welcome, how are you? I think I already said that, but I'm so grateful for you to be here, and I don't know what to say much more because I don't know how to do my intros. So for today's video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you my wrap up for the month of March. I read 6 books during the month of March and it was a bit of a hit or miss. I had a 2-star and I think I had 2 5 stars and a few 4 stars. So I don't think I gave 3 stars during the month of March, which is quite interesting. But that's also okay. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video, and I think without much further ado, let's get into the books that during the month of March I took a part in 2 readathons, which were Roll of Reads hosted by a Finn named Mel, and the second one was Realmathon, hosted by Cassidy over on Covers with Cassidy, I think, but I'll make sure to link them down below. Sadly, the readathons have already ended for this year, for this month, but you can always make sure to subscribe to them and be up until the next time that they come up, which can be quite fun. So for that I read in total 6 books, which I used for both Roll of Reads and for Ramathon, and now I'm going to be telling you all the details about the books that I read during the month of March, which were some ups, some downs, and some mehs, which I'm okay with it. It's nice to have some books that are not like the best, but sometimes it's also good to have a really nice month of reading. So without further ado, let's get into the books and know what I think about them. The first read that I read during the month of March was Circe by Madeline Miller. This book follows Circe. Circe, she's a goddess, better she's a witch, and she is the son of Helios, the god of the sun, and one of the mightiest Titan. So she and her siblings are all the sons of Helios and a few sirens. I think a few sirens, a few like mermaid kind of style creatures, and she has a few siblings, like the majority of them do not treat her right, and only one, that's her youngest sibling, treats her well. And someday they find out that Circe can change people, gods, into whatever she likes, and because of that they get scared of her, so they exile her into an island called Aya, and there she lives a very like solitary life. She like has people come into her island, and one day when the gods find out that they can send their daughters to Circe to like discipline them in a way, Circe starts taking the daughters of the gods because of that, and she then one day discovers Odysseus, and they have a son together, and a lot of things happen. But yeah, I'm sure I did not like explain this book correctly because I did not like it. I gave it in the end 2 stars, mainly because for me it was a very slow-paced book. I did not like the writing style. I thought that it was very redundant in a way, the story, because the same things were happening over and over again in a way. So I did not like that. I had the worst time with this book. For me, it was not worth it. The writing style was very slow, very like I don't know how to explain, but this is definitely not a book for me, and Madeline Miller is not a writer that I will be reaching out for. So I started the month with a 2 star, and I don't know what more to say about the book because I really felt like I could not connect with the characters. The story was very redundant. We were frequently going into the same point that we have already known before, which for me was like, that's okay. And the story is always the same. The same happens, the same things. We can feel some emotions with the book in the end, but that was pretty much it. I really did not enjoy it. I thought that the writing style was very not bland, but it was very confusing in a way, and it was so slow burn that I was like, when are we going to get into action? Because action does not happen in this book. So yeah, this book is not for me. I know it's for a lot of people, but I am not one of them, and I am not sorry about it. Yeah, this is my opinion on Circe. I did not enjoy it. I am going to be unhauling this book actually. I probably am going to give it to my local library because I do not think that it's worth having my shelves. So that's the first book that I read in March, which was not good, but that's okay. So the second book that I fully completed, not I started, but I fully completed during the month of March was Ice Planet Barbarian, the book 1. And I did start this book because of Leandra from Leandra's the TBR Zero and because of Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading. They were doing some full day sprints reading, I think, book 13 and 14 of the series. They are almost at the end of it, and I got very curious because there is a bunch of books in this series and there are some hits and there are some misses, and I am very curious to know what I think of them. And so Ice Planet Barbarian, the book 1, and basically what I just said was the reason for me to picking it up. Ice Planet Barbarian book 1 follows Georgie, and she was sleeping alone in her house, in her home, and when she woke up she was abducted by some aliens. And she was in a cargo ship with a bunch of other girls, and in a way they were being commercialized. They were being taken to sell to other aliens. But because the ship had a malfunction, they had to drop eject the compartment that Georgie and the other girls were, and they ended up in this ice planet. So because they were getting low on maintenance, Georgie did take the courage and went out to find some maintenance, some food, some shelter for them to be a little bit warmer than the ship. And then she finds and she meets Vectel, who is a member of the population of that planet, and then Vectel starts to helping Georgie in a way, and Vectel has this thing that drums and hums when they find their soulmate. So Vectel discovers that Georgie is his soulmate. So from that on, they have a communication barrier. So they try to get past that. There's a way that they get past that, which is amazing. I found it very interesting. And well, once again, I am not making justice to this book, but that's pretty much it. A lot of things happen. This is a full-on vibes book. You will not get the next big literary novel out of this book. This is just fun, and I gave it 5 stars. It was my first 5 stars of the year. I did really enjoy it, having in mind that this is not the next big literary novel of the world, and I enjoyed it. I like what the main characters went through. I liked the way that they communicated. I liked the hardships. I liked everything. So That's why I gave it 5 stars, but there's a catch. There are a few trigger warnings in this book, mainly rape, which if you are triggered by it, make sure you search a bit or you are a bit more cautious when reading this book. But overall, I think it's pretty nicely. I think it is a very good book to enter this world of Us Planet Barbarians, and I did really enjoy it, so that's why I did give it 5 stars in the end. The third book that I started during the month of March was Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, and I finally started it. I was so afraid of reading this book. It was a book that I've been putting off for a long time now, and I finally read it. So in this book we follow Zelly, and she's a member of this world of Orisha, and Zelly has magic. She's a descendant of some magic people, but magic in the world that she currently lives in is prohibited, and they basically magic is asleep in a way. So because of the king. So one day Zelly goes into like the rich part of that country, of that area, and a girl asks her for help to run away with a scroll, and this scroll is a magic scroll, and because of that they burn Zelly's home, Zelly's village down, and because of that Zelly runs away with her brother and this girl that asks her for help, and they have to restore the magic to Orisha, which is a lot. That is also a prophecy, and there is a lot of things happening in this book. There is also some like villains. This is kind of enemies to lovers in a way. The romance is very like in the background. It's very slow burn. I ended up enjoying this book. I think I gave it 4 stars in the end. In the beginning I thought it would be 5, but it ended up being 4 stars because something was missing. There was something that I felt like that was missing, but all in all I really liked the story. I think it's amazing. I was able to like connect with the characters, and I think it's very well written. It's a very like fast-paced, either fast or medium-paced book, which was quite nice. The chapters are very like small. The chapters are very small, and I did really enjoy this book in the end. So I don't know why I was so afraid of it, but I also had some help. I did buddy read this with Donna from Mom's Book Collection, and I think we both liked it very much. It was an amazing book, honestly, and I think it's very worth the size of it. It has almost like 600 pages, and I think it explains a lot, but there are some underwhelming characters that take a big place in the book, and some very like exciting characters. But the thing that made me give it 4 stars was because I felt like there was like that little spark missing in the book, so that's why I ended up giving it only 4 stars. Well, 4 stars is quite good, so yeah, I don't have much more to say about this book. I really liked it. I think it's worth it, and I think you should read it if you find it interesting, and I cannot wait to read the second book because I think it will be amazing. The next book that I read was Heartless by Elsie Silve. This is the second book on the Chestnut Spring series, which, if you don't know, there's a read-along happening on Brittany's, Leandra's, and Claire's from happening, so I'll make sure to leave the link down below. And I found this book a very quick read. So in this book we follow Kate Eaton, who is the older brother of the Eaton brothers, and he has a little kid. I think he's either 5, 6, something like that, and the little kid is on summer vacation, and because of that he needs a nanny. And Summer helps him find this nanny, which ends up being her best friend Willa, and Willa goes to live with Kate, and a lot happens in the meantime. There's some truth or dare happening, there's some like little teasing, there's birthday parties, there's a bunch of things happening, and a lot of romance, a lot of spice scenes, which is quite fun, And yeah, this book is very sweet, very nice, and it's a very quick, like, either palette cleanser between books or a very just fun little read. So in the end, I did end up giving it 4 stars, mainly because I like the first book better, and I have a theory because of that. I think that if you have kids, if you want to have kids, you will like this book because of the kid aspect in the book, but if you don't, for me, that's why I like Red a little bit more. I loved Red. I think it's amazing, the book and his relationship with Summer. So that's why I did end up giving it 4 stars, because I did not feel like that connection with Kate as I felt with Red. And that's my theory. I think if you are younger, you will like, or if you don't have the want to have kids, you will like Red more than Kate. But if you have that, if you are a mom or a dad, and if you like the single dad trope, you will like Kate a lot more. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I think it's fun. I think it's an easy book, and I gave it 4 stars, which I think it's pretty good. Okay, let's finish this. I have 2 more books that I read during the month of March, so let me show you. The next book that I read during the month of March was Library of Shadows by Rachel Moore, and this is Rachel's debut novel. And so basically in this book we follow Esty, who receives a scholarship, a generation type of thing, scholarship for, if I'm not wrong, Radcliffe Prep. And Radcliffe Prep is a very prestigious high school where there is only 11th and 12th grade student. So she goes there, and one day, while talking to her roommate, the roommate breaks one of her photo frames, and she discovers this key in the back of it that she does not know what it is for, but she knows in a way that it is for a door in this school. So she then goes into a tour in the school, and she finds this guy. She finds Matteo, who tells her where the key is for. The key was for a place called not script. So I don't remember, but this key is a key for this room that has very valuable stuff, and one of the things is the Book of Deaths, and that book is very important. And she, without knowing, helps Matteo steal this book, and because of that she gets into a lot of trouble. And story comes, story goes, she's trying to find her dead father in a way, and then she discovers that Matteo is a ghost, and a lot of things happen. She discovers that there's more ghosts in the school. She discovers why they are ghosts, and so she's helping them turning into humans once again. And I really like this book. I felt like this was a very cozy book. It reminded me of the ones that I read when I was younger, and because of that, because of the nostalgia, I gave it 5 stars. I did enjoy it very much. I had some problems with it, mainly the idea that this book is set in 2027, and it felt very much historical in a way, not like it's not happening in the present. For me, that's what I felt with this book, and that was one of my main critiques, that it did not felt that it happened during 2027, because there's this like weird thing happening where they talk about Juicy Couture, and they talk about Birkin bags, and they talk about all of that stuff. But then they have the feeling, the school has the setting of the book has this feeling of 19 something, and I'm very torn off about it. But I gave it 5 stars mainly because of the vibes, of the nostalgia that it gave me, and I really like it. I liked Esty, I related to her character a lot, and I also liked Matteo and like those little like goofy boy vibes in a way, and I liked the ending, so that's why I gave it the rating that I gave it. I do recommend this book, but just you know, it has some flaws in it. But I do recommend it. It's a nice read. And the last book, and oh boy, did I have some problems with it, was Emily Wilde's Encyclopaedia of Faeries by Heather Fawcett. We follow Emily in one of her adventures for her encyclopedia. We go into this like small town in the north to explore like the fairies that live in the colder weathers, and oh boy, did I have trouble with this book. I started to read it with only my eyes, so only reading the physical book. I was not liking it, and I knew that Leandra from Leandra the TBR Zero had read the book and she did enjoy it, so I talked with her. And there was also Danny from Danny Doubles in the comments of her one of her sprints, and they helped me and they said maybe try the audio, maybe the audio can help you. So saying this, if I only read the book just physical, I would have either DNF'd or give it a very low rating. But since I ended up picking up the audio, and because of that I did really enjoy the book, I ended up giving it 3.75 stars. Mainly because I had problems with it, and because I know if I have only read the book in the physical format, I would definitely have not liked it. And my main problem was with the writing style. I feel like that's very academic in a way, and there's not a lot of action happening, but I can definitely understand why people like it. I think it's a very cozy, very warm book, especially more during the end. I really liked the end of it, and I like the characters. Poe and Shadow were my favorite characters. I liked them. I felt they were very cute, very amazing, and they were in a way a fundamental part of this book. But I really did not vibe with the writing style of this author, and for me it was a big like deal breaker for liking this book or not. But in the end I did enjoy it when I picked up the audio, and it was a 3.75, and I feel like that's still a really nice rating for a book. So yeah, I think that's it, and I don't have more books to show you, so I think the next we will go over some stats for the month. Just very quickly going over some book stats. During the month I read 6 books in total, which counts up to 2,351 pages. I ended up listening to 12 hours of an audiobook, which was Emily Wilde's, and my average rating was 4.1 stars. In the end, I am currently at 36% of my year challenge. I did change my year challenge from 30 to 50 books because I think that's more reasonable to the amount of books that I'm currently reading. So that's my plan at the moment for the books that I am not the books, but for my year challenge. Let's see if I read more or less. I hope I read more, but let's see how it ends up happening. So this is all that I have for today's video. I think since I am not in I don't have words sometimes, and today is one of those days that I cannot talk and I cannot express what I want to say about the books, and I always have a hard time telling what the books are about, but I hope it was understandable enough. So yeah, I think that's it, and if you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and since you are already down there, make sure to also subscribe and leave a comment down below answering to the question of what was the best book that you read for the month of March. And if you don't feel like chatting, maybe leave a sun because it's very sunny outside. So I think that's it, and I don't have much more to say. Just so you know, my sprints are now on a Wednesday instead of a Saturday because it's better for me. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I've said all the things that I wanted to say. Because of that, I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you have an amazing day, night or evening wherever you are in the world, and I see you next time. So until then, bye bye.